Okay, so, all right, everybody, we can finally get started now. It's going, recording and everything?
Yeah, it's recording.
Okay, so as we get started here, if you could all, hopefully you already have, if you go to the website and get Lab 5, so that would be the PDF here, and then also make sure you get the tutorial and make sure you download that part as well. It's called the CR or carm.hm, and save that into your own local private J drive folder later. And so I guess you don't have to do that right now because it would be best not to try and follow along. Well, like, watch, I'm going to go through the tutorial, but I'm going to go pretty fast. So don't try and keep up doing it yourself. Just watch it first time, and then you can do it yourself. Because yeah, take notes as you can. I would, if you have this printed out, even better.
Because you will use this, what you learned today, for the rest of the semester.
Yes, very important.
And it's really want to take notes.
So basically, in here it talks about how to open it up and stuff, but so I have it already open on here. So at BYU here, we go Start, Programs, CAD Programs, Altair HyperWorks 10, and we open HyperMesh right here. And it opens this up, HyperMesh, and it's going to pop up a little menu called User Profiles. So you're going to want this to pop up every time you open HyperMesh, so make sure you don't uncheck this box. And
We can't hear you in the back.
okay, sorry, I will, which microphone is this? What? You know which one this is? I'll just go this way. So can you hear me better if I just shout louder?
Yeah.
Okay, so just make sure that you want this user profiles window to pop up every time. So just don't uncheck this box ever. And on this case, it's going to be on default.
So today, we can't, I don't know what's happening, but Tamberg won't display his screen up here. So each of you will need to log into the join.me conference to see Eric's screen. Sorry about that, but for some reason it's not working today.
Yeah, the number's
so
here on the
join.me
whiteboard.
number is up there. So just log into join.me.
Okay, can I continue? Okay, so in this, for this, since we're doing optimization, we're going to be using OptiStruct. So you have to make sure this box is checked, or this bullet is checked, and you hit OK. If you need to go back into that, it's pretty easy. You just go Preferences, User Profiles. Does Holt need to say something? Okay, sure. Okay, we're going to pause because Holt is going to say something.
I just want to take a quick moment on Saturday. On Saturday, late Saturday night, I sent a document out with you that listed all of your team members and a whole bunch of different ways that you can communicate virtually with them. And it asked you to keep track of each time you initiated a call with them. If you could try and do that, I realize it's a real pain in the butt to do, but it gives us just a wealth of information saying who do you contact and how do you contact them virtually if you do. On Friday, I'm going to send you a survey where you'll have the same sheet and you'll just put in, I contacted this person 0 times, 1 time, 5 times, and it takes 3 minutes to fill it out. But it's the keeping track throughout the week, and it's initiated calls. So for example, if I sent Larissa an email and she responded to it, because I initiated it with an email, I would count that as 1, Larissa would count that as 0. It's only if you initiated the contact. The only one that differs on is shared documents. So anytime you share a document, you count that as 1. Again, I apologize because it's the most difficult part of the data to collect, but it also is critical to us because it lets us see what tools you're using to communicate with each other. Because we're only looking at email specifically, but we want to take kind of a broader picture, and this is it. So, just as a quick reminder for you for that, and if you could remind your remote teammates of that also, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Holt. So, so I'm going to open the file now. You click Open or File Open, and here's the part I have ready, carm.hm. And so here's our part, as we can see. So it's already have several things set up. We can see there are 3 components in there. And so if I uncheck them all, we'll see that we have the non-design components, we have the design components, and then RBE2s, which are these gray things in here. Like this. That's an RBE2. these there. So the way this is split up, and we're going to keep doing this, is the yellow parts are non-design space. So the optimization solver is going to leave that alone, but it's only going to optimize everything in this component, and we're going to set it up so that that will happen. So the first thing it has us do after opening the file is we right-click here in the model. You see it says model here, and we say create, and we create a material. And it has us name that material steel, and then for card image, mat 1 is what it wants us to pick. And then if we click card edit material upon creation, then it will open up this window here, hopefully, called, this is the card edit window, right? So if you don't do that, you can still get there pretty easily. If I go to my material here, and if the network wasn't very laggy, okay, so here's my steel, my material. I can say edit or card edit. So card edit will bring up this box here. That's what we're looking for the card image. So for E, if we just click on that, and it wants us to enter 2e to the 5th, and it also wants us to enter for new 3.3.
Now to get those boxes to show up, just click on the letter or right next to the letter.
Yeah, so if you click up here, if you kind of click around, you'll eventually get it to show up, and I probably shouldn't have done that.
Just click on A.
Yeah, so I can unclick that. Okay, so once I'm done, I click return. And so now we've created that material. Now it wants us to create, so right click, create a property. And in the name, we will put okay, so in the type, it says, right, so I guess type is all. Name, we want it to be design prop. And the card image, we want to make sure that's P solid. And for the material, so if you click on the material tab here, then we say, if it's not assigned, then go ahead and say assign material, and then name, and we'll pick steel. And then we will click create. And actually, I'm going to uncheck the card edit because we don't need to have that pop up. And so now we've created a property called, hold on. Where is he? There he is. Well, I'm in a call right now, right? How do I get here? Add people. Okay, so now where was I? So we've created this property called design prop. We're going to make another property called non-design prop. So these two properties, one we will link, or it'll pertain to the design property, design space, which is this part, and the other property will be linked with this non-design space. So non-design property. It's also a P solid. It already has, by default, it's going to assign the material steel, so we're going to create that as well. And okay, so now it says from the collector's pull-down menu, we go to assign component property. So here we are, and it says click on comps. So we want to pick the non-design space, non-design component, right? And we're going to assign that the property non-design prop. So if you click right here, then it'll pull up that menu, non-design prop. So now we are going to assign the non-design property to that component. So we click assign, and it's done. And if we do the same thing, if we pick the design and select that part. As you can see, it's selected, and we select the design property, assign. So now those properties have been assigned to those components. Okay, next we will be making load collectors. So if I click return and I come over here and create a load collector, and this one we will call SPC. And as a suggestion, you're going to want to have your SPCs. SPCs are your constraints, like where it's fixed. So if you click on the color, then you can pick a different color. I'm going to choose white. So SPC, and it has us card image set to none. Select a suitable color and click create. Okay, so now we have an SPC load collector. So we're going to create another one. Actually 3 more. One is going to be called break, one is called corner, and one is called pothole. And color, I'm going to make these red so that way we can tell them apart, and it'll make it a lot easier for us later. So create, load collector, and one more called pothole. Great. Okay, so now we have these 4 load collectors, and pothole is bold because that means it's the current load collector. So if we make a force, if we create a force in here, it's going to put it into this load collector. So we're going to right click on SPC and we're going to say make current. So now SPC is now the current load collector. And so if we go to, now on these panels page, if we go to analysis and we go to forces, I believe it wants us to create, right? Or constraints. So analysis constraints. So now we're going to create at a certain node, and it wants us to click one of these nodes in here. So if you can see right there, I have a node. See that? And so I'm going to click that, and now that node is selected because nodes here is highlighted, and it wants us to make sure that all the degrees of freedom are constrained. And I believe that's all. So now I hit click create, and now you can see there's this triangle that's been created. This triangle represents a constraint. So that point is fixed, and it's fixed in all 6 degrees of freedom. The degrees 1 through 3 are translation. So translation in the X, translation in the Y, translation in the Z, and the 4, 5, and 6 are rotation. Rotation X, rotation Y, rotation Z. So now we want to, now it has us select this other node back here, and so then it has just, I believe it just wants us to do just 2 and 3 constraints. So this one will be able to move in the X direction and rotate in all 3 directions. And oh right, and we'll click create. Now actually I realize I made a mistake. I need to update. So loads, I'm going to click on this guy, hopefully. Well, let's just do this. I'm going to delete. What's up?
Could you briefly mention what the 6 degrees of freedom are?
Yes, I just did.
Oh, sorry.
So I'm going, since I realize this one has too many, let's see, it's just a load. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to remake that. If you need to delete stuff, it's just, I believe it's tool delete. So that's how I got into that, and I selected what I wanted to delete. So I deleted that load. So let me go back to analysis, constraints, and I want to create a constraint at that node. I realize it should have just been 1, 2, and 3. I should have let it rotate.